Okay.
What we should actually be, there is no body that is guilty or somebody that is right in this something. What should be, what is the people? It is not a public service. It is not about self-glorification. Citizens, whatever the politicians are doing, be prime. Understand? What Wike is doing, even though Wike is of PDP, collectivism. It is about ensuring that the nation develops. It is about diversity. What we are experiencing is political diversity, that people from who have other ideas on how government should run, how governance can be structured, attracting the opposition. So I'm not going to be passing any blame. What I'm going to be appealing is, please, these governors, in the interest of the nation, they should resolve their issues amicably. What Wike is doing is serving the nation. Is serving PDP interests itself, because PDP is part of Nigeria.
All right. It's also part of politics. Internal. A lot of groups are meeting now. There's a lot of strategic meetings. There's a lot of regrouping. There's a lot of.
And what do you use power for? When you get to power, so regardless of how you get to power, the citizens' interest is the prime. The public interest is the most important.
All right, Mr. Solanke, let's move on to the leadership newspaper. Police uncover foreigners plotting regime change. And this is from the leadership newspaper. It says the Nigerian police force has claimed it has uncovered foreigners plotting unconstitutional regime change and financing terrorism. The force has also declared a British citizen, Andrew Wayne, and a Nigerian wanted over alleged terrorism. Andrew Wayne, also known as Andrew Povich, a British national, is suspected of being a foreign mercenary sponsoring terrorism in the country, the police said. The police further stated that their investigation into the NLC revealed the extent of Force Headquarters PRO overthrew the government and plunged the country into chaos.
Well, I have always maintained that we should be careful in Nigeria. There are so many interests contending for the soul of the nation, for the soul of Nigeria. Foreign interests are part of it. Commercial interests are part of it. All kind of interests, when they conspire to affect the overall nation, that is what plunged the nation into anarchy. These are the kind of things that plunged the nation into. We salute the efforts is emanating. See, itself needs to be doing to sensitize Nigerians to the realities of other interests that are seeking the soul of Nigeria. Understand? When this interest, what they're after is mostly about hijacking the nation's economy and some critical aspects of, and so when they have the interest, they dominate, they control it, and so we must be sensitive. Even with the citizens at home too, we must be sensitive to this reality that not many ideas, ideologies, or ideas that are preached into the nation are really in the interest of the country. They are not even to the best interest of the for locating where this is. The National Orientation Agency is important to be sensitizing Nigerians on the promises and prospects of the nation. The government itself must be implementing policies that is going to open the eyes of the citizens to the beauty of the nation. We have everything to make Nigeria. I was just romanticizing about Nigeria some times ago. This is not a landlocked country with water resources, very close to the Atlantic Ocean. It's like Nigeria is the one that is feeding most other countries that surround us. Cameroon, Benin, Niger, and Chad. Many of them, their businesses do not thrive except Nigeria's hand is in it. And so this is a nation, a power, not just a nation, a global power in the future. and we cannot afford to compromise the future of Nigeria by allowing interests that are inimical to us to begin to dictate how our country is run.
All right, you can still join the conversation before we round off. The numbers are 0903 2229797. You can also call us on 0818 2222205 or 0818 2222206. Sholanke, let's look at the story from the Sun newspaper. IPADEC calls for strict power producing areas development on flood-ravaged states to reduce the impact. The managing director, Abubakar Yewa, at a press conference, he explained that the declaration of a state of emergency was...
Well, it's the call for state of emergency. In how many areas would the government be declaring state of emergency? This, in most of this flooding, it is unfortunate. We still want, as it has called for state of emergency, beyond the flood mission that needs to be passed to the citizens. Continuous sensitization, continuous orientation, because are recorded, and it's when the losses are such losses. Also, it's not just the state, just those areas alone. The entire economy, the entire nation is at jeopardy. And so, in calling for that state of emergency, they are right. The IPADEC is right, but beyond the emergency period, what is the kind of culture that people must imbibe? What are the kind of attitude? What behavioral change?
Thank you so much, Mr. Sholanke, for that, because out of the blues.
No.
Every year we go through this.
Yeah.
Every 2 or 3 years we have a massive disaster on our hands. And every year also, agencies of government would send out we need to. And every time, is it rocket science for us to start having long-term plans on how to deal with these issues?
Behavior. Look, there are in some parts of the country, people build on floodplains. What do you expect when you build on floodplains? What do you expect when you dump into parts that water should flow? What do you expect? So, in fact, there are some people that they have even given up. Where am I going? So the planning of the government must factor the information, the sensitization that people, you do not give up. We cannot afford to give up. In most of the disasters that we have experienced in this country, they are man-made. We compound the forces of us. If you not intervene, there are so many interventions we do when that eventually the nature will have to fight back. In many instances, just that the nature is fighting back. If you see the kind of construction on paths and floodplains that go on, where would this flood? Where would they flow into? If not homes. What you have done on those flood paths or floodplain, they are huge investments. You bring economy to such areas. What is going to be destroyed? Is it not the economy that is going to be destroyed? Is it not infrastructure? Is it not investment that are going to be destroyed? Additive to the fact that when nature decides to take its own vengeance, it can be very vengeful. I pray that we do not lose massive lives. Sometimes you don't even need to send serious. You know that this thing will happen, and so you must take to warning.
All right, Mr. Sholanke, let's take this foundation, deep foreign direct investment, trade in Southeast Nigeria. And we have the story here with a meager 6% foreign direct investment inflow going to the Southeast region in the last 4 years. The region's economy may be descending a steep slope further than its stakeholders want to acknowledge. The challenge is not unconnected with the growing cases of kidnappings, killings, and sit-at-home on Mondays, coupled with the unfriendly tax policies of current administrations. Findings showed that the numerous challenges, though not peculiar to the region, are responsible for investors' loss of interest in the region. Worse still, there is a rapid relocation penchant among existing businesses, all angling for safer environments outside the zone.
The leaders of thought in southeastern Nigeria that if you are fighting for the soul of Nigeria, you must also consider your own base. But at the end of the day, you are actually destroying your own base. So the leaders of thought of the southeastern zone of Nigeria should gather together. If they are calling for national conference, have a conference of your own on how your own region can become like a Singapore, can become like a Thailand. That really wish the southeastern leaders of thought should see a way of developing that region, make it very attractive for them to do business, for other Nigerians to also invest in that part of the country. They should, if this sit-at-home orders and you cripple your business, a huge business environment should be in the southeastern region that we can be exporting to other parts of Nigeria. So look at who does not know Aba. Aba is popular for so many things. Onitsha is popular for so many things. Enugu is potentials to leverage upon, to build, to also assist the Nigerian economy itself. So I want to appeal to the leaders of thought, the southeastern part of Nigeria, to see a way of developing its
Abdul Aris Solanke on Newspaper Review today on Citizen 93.7. My name is Lawrence Umar.